Welcome, welcome to your Kiss from Kristin. I'm Kristin Wood, and weekly I show up and give you a keep it super simple tip. This is a tip that it's meant to be just small, not overwhelming, something that you can start implementing, putting action to, and implementing it consistently day in and day out, and you are going to start to see a change in your weight and your wellness. And I recently had a question, do I implement them all? And yes, you certainly could, but what my intention is just to give you something that's manageable. And when you hear the tip, if it feels like, oh man, this is what I've been missing, then implement it and start doing it consistently. And when it feels like you don't even have to think about it anymore, it's just the way you do life, then you can implement another tip. So you always have the option to save each tip so that you can watch it later. So if it's not something that is resonating with you today, then you save it for another day. And the cool thing about when we start making changes is we have this thing called the ripple effect that happens. And you make a change, you start making shifts, and everything about you starts shifting. It's like a ripple. It just starts building out. You are changing. Your views, your ideas, your values start changing. Just slightly. You're not going to just wake up like you think like a whole new person, but it's just so slight that you might not even notice it. But what you heard last month that didn't resonate might land completely different this month. So that's why it's always good to go back and re-listen. You're a different person. So today is going to be the perfect tip for you if you feel like you're constantly fighting cravings. Like you've always got the cravings for the high calorie, sugar dense treats, and you just had a meal. Why are you craving this? If that's what kind of aggravation you're dealing with, then today's for you. We're going to talk about protein and have you take a look at what are you taking in each day in protein. Preserve our muscle mass. And we want that because muscles are where calories are burned. So it's important that we look at our protein. And recently I heard something about protein come up and it made me think, have I been following my protein rules? Because it's super easy to get so focused on one or two things that you start to let a couple other things slide. So it's kind of a balancing act of always taking a look at where are you, with protein, where are you at? With movement, where are you at? With water, where are you at? It's just, you need to do a little check, evaluation every once in a while. And for me, protein came up that I think I need to look at this. So for you, what is it that you feel like you need to go back and take a look at? But protein is one that, I really want you to get curious right now about what are you taking in protein. And when we get to the part where I tell you how much protein you need a day, you'll be able to see, are you getting enough or are you at too much? But it's not just an amount, it's really important when you get your protein and what kind of protein you get. And this 4-day energy experiment that I'm sharing with you, it's actually the thing that really kicked off my ability to get curious with my body. So if you've listened to me very much, you've probably heard me talk about listening to the signals and the clues and how my body's talking to me. And maybe you've thought, well, that's great, Kristin. I'm glad your body talks to you, but mine doesn't talk to me. It does talk to you. It will talk to you. It maybe doesn't talk clearly because you haven't listened. So it's just stopped. If you're talking to somebody and they're not listening, you're going to stop. Your body is no different. So this experiment was how I started showing my body that I'm willing to listen. I'm open to listen. Start talking to me. Start giving me the signals and the clues. And it was an easy way for me to learn how to do that. And I hope that it does the same for you. I'm pretty sure it will. This is an experiment that I encourage all my clients to start out with, just because it's simple to do. You are not having to change your diet. I'm not asking you to eat anything crazy out of the ordinary that you normally don't. It's simply maybe adjusting timing on when you eat some things, but it's your normal, whatever is in your world. If you eat out fast food every day, I'm not really happy about that, and I would like to see that change for you. But you can do this 4-day energy experiment with that type of diet. We're just going to look at changing the places that you're having protein. So it's simple to do. It's not changing your diet terribly. It's just a timing thing. So what have you got to lose to try it? You've got so much that you can learn about yourself from this super simple 4-day energy experiment. So I'm dropping the link so you can go get it and get started on it. If you've got questions once you look at it, let me know. One of the things you will notice is it talks about looking at the types of protein that you're eating. Are you having animal protein or plant protein? Now I get it. The type of protein that we eat is very personal. So I am in no way trying to disrupt any of your values, your beliefs on what protein you feel you want to eat. So if you are strictly animal protein, then maybe you mix it up and you try, beef and pork against chicken and fish. If you are strictly plant-based protein and you do not want to try the animal protein, then you just look at the different types of plant proteins and break them up into groups and try, a day that you're strictly only having beans. Maybe the next day you try to get your protein more from quinoa or tofu. I'm not a big plant-based person, so I'm not sure of all the different plant-based options for protein. But you mix it up so that you can see, is there one that your body reacts to better than it does the others? What gives you more energy? That's the whole point, is we want to see what protein is giving you the most energy, and when in the day do you find you get the biggest spike of energy, because they want more energy. So you'll notice the different types of protein. Take a look at that. If there's any questions, reach out to me. You can send me a message, email me, however you got to get in contact with me. Do it. I'm always checking my messages and my email, so I should reach out to you within a day. Now, how much protein? So I'm not new to this whole wellness scene. I've been checking out, investigating different wellness and weight tips for 35 plus years. And, anybody can say anything. I'm proof of that right here. There is no truth and fact police that is saying that's not true. You can't say that. So I learned that a long time ago. And I would hear something and think, okay, that's great. That sounds interesting. That could be true. But I would go and look for who else can I see that is saying this, that is not affiliated with this person, with this group. And I would look for being able to find a fact several times before I would decide, okay, that's a truth. So A long time ago, I started hearing this statistic for protein, and I heard it several times. And when I heard it a couple weeks ago, that's when I was like, oh, I maybe need to reevaluate where I'm landing each day with protein. And that is that you need 1 gram of protein per body weight pound. So if you're 150 pounds, you need 150 grams of protein a day. Where are you landing? I found I'm not getting enough, and that is probably why I have been fighting some cravings again. I've let my protein fall off. Now, it can be difficult to feel like you can get that much protein. So one thing I've started looking at again is, do I want to have a protein shake? Add some protein powder into my day to help me get that level of protein that I need. And I do think I'm willing to look at that. For a long time, I had crossed off protein shakes. I was like, I'm not doing a meal replacement shake. I am eating food. I only want food. But in my life, my circumstances, a lot of times my husband's gone. So I will not even fix a decent meal when he's gone. I will just start scavenging and have a little of this and a little of that. And I'm like, that is the perfect place for me to put a protein shake back in to my day, is when I'm not going to be fixing a meal that has all the components that I would want. Have a protein shake where I can throw some spinach in, I can throw a banana in, I can throw some Greek yogurt in and protein powder, and have something that's really satisfying, gives me the protein boost that I need, and helps me cut those cravings. So if you're interested in that, when you're looking for a protein powder, some things that I look for are something that is clean. I want something that's not got the GMOs, something that's organic. I prefer a plant-based protein, and so I want something that's grass-fed. If you're vegan, you're definitely going to want something that's organic. So something that's really clean. You're also going to want to watch for sugars and carbohydrates, because not all proteins are the same. So look for something that is low in sugar, and you don't want to use up, a ton of carbs just to get this extra protein in your day. So watch that balance. It can be tricky. I'm not going to give you like, go get this type of protein. There's millions of protein powder options on the market, but you find the one that you like. Another thing is taste and texture is a big thing. Some can be super grainy, some don't taste that great. So pay attention to, that's going to be a big thing. So pay attention to how much you buy. Don't buy a huge big tub just to find out with the first shake that you hate that flavor or you hate that texture. So start with something small in order to find what works for you. That's the tips that I've got for you on protein. You might find different powders that have a lot more vitamins and joint health type products in them. If that's important to you, that's something that you might want to look for as well. So the 4-day energy experiment, I'm dropping the link so that you can get a copy of it. I highly encourage you to do it. Start learning how to talk to your body and figure out what type of protein is best for you. When does your body want that protein? This is great because what works for you today, it is very possible it is not going to work for you next year. We are constantly changing and evolving. So what we do is going to constantly need to change and evolve. This is a great way for you to learn how your body's communicating with you so that you see right away when something starts to not work as well. and you can start and make a shift before things just completely derail. So this is going to be a great tool for you to have in your pocket to use anytime you start to feel like you need to make a shift. I hope you got some value out of this. I can't wait to hear what you learn from this experiment, and check it out and ask me if you've got any questions. I'm here for you. Cool thing about when we start making changes is we have this thing called the ripple effect that happens. And you make a change, you start making shifts, and everything about you starts shifting. It's like a ripple. It just starts building out. You are changing. Your views, your ideas, your values start changing. Just slightly. You're not going to just wake up like you think like a whole new person, but it's just so slight that you might not even notice it. But what you heard last month that didn't resonate might land completely different this month. So that's why it's always good to go back and re-listen. You're a different person. So today is going to be the perfect tip for you if you feel like you're constantly fighting cravings. Like you've always got the cravings for the high calorie, sugar dense treats, and you just had a meal. Why are you craving this? If that's what kind of aggravation you're dealing with, then today's for you. We're going to talk about protein and have you take a look at what are you taking in each day in protein.